guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to give you a houseplant tour and show you guys all the houseplants that I currently own. Most of these plants I got in the last few months. I was never really into houseplants before and now I'm kind of obsessed. A lot of the plants that I have really like bright light and humidity, and then I also have a few succulents and I have a lot of plants that I am currently propagating. So I'm going to start you off with my office houseplants. The first plant I want to talk to you guys about is my snake plant. These guys are so chill and so easy. These guys are great starter plants because they don't really need a lot of light, although they do appreciate light. Don't put them in a dark room. But yeah, they don't need a ton of light. They really don't need lots of water because they are a succulent. So they're super chill, super easy to care for. If you guys see this white substance in the soil, this is diatomaceous earth, and we put that in there to keep fungus gnats out because we were having a really bad fungus gnat problem for a while. But they're gone now, thankfully. So yeah, this is my snake plant. This guy gets a lot of good light from this window, and it's actually been growing quite a bit lately, so I'm really happy with how he's doing. This next plant is our Chinese evergreen. It's an Aglaonema, or Aglaonema. I honestly kind of like neglected him for the first like 2 or 3 months, and he ended up growing a lot of babies, which then we took him out of the pot and we cut the babies off, and I've actually given them to a couple of friends. And the cool thing about this guy is he's actually my husband's grandmother's who passed away, and so my husband's mom got all of these and then she gave us one, and now we've been able to take the babies and give them out to people too. This next plant is a Dracaena marginata. I actually got this on my birthday, which was just a couple weeks ago, so I haven't had him long. I do know that they are a tropical plant and they like a lot of humidity and a lot of light. So he gets pretty good light in here. He gets light from a window over there in the morning, and then he gets like some decent indirect light during the day. Like I said, I've only had him a few weeks, so I'm going to keep him in here for a while and just see how he does. The next plant I want to talk about is Phil. He is a Philodendron Saloon. I don't know how you say it. I got this guy on a clearance rack at Lowe's or Home Depot, I don't remember. And honestly, he was like almost dead. I got him for $5. And since then, he has put out 2 new humongous leaves. Over the summer, I'm going to stick him outside because they love bright light, they love humidity, and honestly, like, they get massive. So I'm not quite sure how much longer he's going to be an inside plant, but he's doing awesome for now, and I think they're just really cool plants in general. Okay, so now I'm going to show you where the bulk of my plants are, and they are in our living room. The reason most of our plants are in here is because we have 2 south-facing windows, and then we have a great west-facing window in our like dining room / kitchen area. So this area of our house gets the most light. The first plant I'm going to show you guys is our pinstripe calathea. Right now you can see that the leaves are spread out like this. So during the day, the leaves spread out like that to get as much light as possible. And then once the sun's gone down in the evening, you'll see that the leaves are back straight up. Like the first few days, me and my husband didn't know that they did that. And I was so confused. I was like, this plant is moving, what's going on? And then I looked it up and I was like, okay. But they're really interesting like that. So this next plant is a peace lily. And honestly, this plant is doing so much better than when I first got it. This peace lily was a $1 clearance rack plant, which I have a habit of doing. I like seeing the messed up ones on the clearance rack and hoping I can save them. So when I first got him, a lot of his flowers were brown, and so I cut them off. His foliage is looking a million times better. And these guys are honestly surprisingly easy, and it lets you know when it wants water. It'll be really droopy, so I just stick it in the sink and I'll water it. About 30 minutes later, he's filled back out and it looks great. So he hasn't given me any problems yet, and these guys can get like really big too. So I'm really excited to see how much he grows this year. The next plant I'm gonna show you is my Thanksgiving cactus. This was actually mislabeled as a Christmas cactus. The Thanksgiving cactuses actually have these pointier leaves, and the Christmas cactuses are more rounded. When I got him, he was starting to bloom. It was around like Thanksgiving, Christmas time when he was starting to bloom. And I know to get them to bloom, they need the colder temperatures. And obviously now it's February, so most of his blooms have like shriveled up and they're falling off. He has a lot of aerial roots as well. I'm not quite sure, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what he likes yet. So I'm kind of just playing it by ear right now. So the next plant I want to talk to you guys about is my prayer plants. I believe these are called Maranta Lucanera or something like that. This guy was a $6 grocery store find, which is crazy considering how massive he is. I know I've seen a lot of these at like Lowe's and Home Depot for, you know, $15 to $20. So this was super exciting. He's absolutely gorgeous. I know they like a lot of humidity and bright indirect light like every other plant I seem to own. But yeah, so he hasn't really given me any issues. He's putting out a ton of new growth. He's unfurling some leaves right now over here and honestly all over the place. Okay, so this is kind of our little plant corner area. This is one of our main south-facing windows. So of course, like every plant we own has to go over here so it lives its best life. The first plant I'm going to talk to you guys about is this. It looks super ugly right now. This is one of the Pothos vines that we have. We have like a million Pothos. So this one we just planted recently, so it looks pretty bad. It hasn't given off its leaves yet. We have a bunch of Pothos up here, so these are actually way more attractive than what's in here right now. I also highly recommend Pothos if you're a first-time plant owner. They're amazing, they're super resilient. They do like bright indirect light. Honestly, the more light they get, the faster they're gonna grow. I've had Pothos in our kitchen, which gets hardly any light, and they've still, you know, grown leaves for me. So I think they're a really easy plant for a first-time plant owner. Up in this hanging basket, I have regular Pothos, and then I have these beautiful variegated ones. I believe you pronounce it Mamie Croton, not 100%. This was a $1 clearance find as well. If you do have pets or small children, I would keep in mind that the sap can be toxic to animals and it can also be irritating to the skin. So maybe try to keep it up high if your animals do like to chew on your plants. Other than that, these guys love bright light, they love humidity. I did come in one day and these leaves were completely drooped, like all over the side, and I had a little freak out. So I watered it, I stuck him in the sun, and an hour or two later, he was right back up. So they will tell you when they're not happy and they want water. So these windowsill plants, this first plant is Echinacea, which is also called a cone flower. These guys, I got this at Dollar Tree for $1. Very interesting. I know the flowers are purple, and that's pretty much all I know about those. This guy looks extremely rough. My mom got this guy from IKEA and gifted him to me. He kind of looked rough when we got him. He's actually doing better. We've been knocking off his lower leaves because we are going to try to propagate them. But you can see the new growth at the top, so I'm just trying to keep an eye on him. I know he doesn't look his best right now. And I believe he's some type of Echinacea, if that's how you say it. I'm not totally sure. This next guy, my mom also gifted me. She got him from IKEA. I know he is a type of Echinacea as well. Yeah, he's doing great. I'm honestly going to put him in a new pot soon. This next plant is honestly one of my absolute favorites. This is a jade tree succulent. I had no idea, but they grow into very large trees and flower. And I got this from a wedding that my husband and I photographed. The bride was giving out succulents and I just happened to get this guy. And it grows literally like a weed. It's insane how much it has grown just in the past few months. I highly recommend these for a first-time plant owner as well. This next plant is called a Haworthia. This is actually like my second or third Haworthia. I kind of killed my first few. They're very slow growers. They are a succulent, so they don't need a lot of water. They like bright light, hence why all my succulents are in our south-facing window. But yes, these guys do grow slowly, so if you're impatient, they might drive you a little crazy. So this next plant, I'm sure if you guys are into plants, I know you've seen these everywhere. They're like the trendy in plant on Instagram right now. This is a fiddly fig tree. These guys can grow extremely tall. In the wild, they get insanely massive. They're native to Western Africa, I believe. I actually got this one for like $18, which is insane because these trees can sell, you know, anywhere from $50 to like $350. This one is really awesome because we actually got 2 fiddly fig trees, so we're gonna separate them soon. I'm kind of scared to separate them. I don't know why, I'm just afraid like it's gonna stress them out or something. So this next plant was, I believe, one of our first like large houseplant purchases. This is a Majesty Palm. It's funny because I know a lot of people say that palms are super finicky, but I haven't really had any issues with this one. We have a humidifier down here actually. So I try to turn that on, you know, a couple times a week. I spritz the leaves every day. They love humidity, you know, they're palms, they're tropical plants. And then as far as watering, I just put my fingers in the soil, and then if it's dry, like 2 or so inches down, then I give them a good watering. Other than that, it's like one of my easiest plants. So I know you can see like a little bit of browning on these fronds. Usually, what I've heard is if the tips are yellow, it's being overwatered. And then if it's brown, it's being underwatered. So I may need to give him just a little more water now, especially now it's starting to get a little warmer outside. But when the tips turn like that, that's also pretty natural. So I just take scissors and cut them off. And then right here you can see we have a ton of new growth, which is about to open up. And I'm like checking it every day because I'm so excited. So I feel like I keep saying that like this is my favorite plant. But honestly, besides my lemon tree, which is outside, I wanted to show it to you guys, but it's actually really sunny today. Anyways, this is my favorite plant. This is our white bird of paradise, which is also called the giant bird of paradise. It's a lot larger than just the regular orange one, and it produces white flowers. This guy's absolutely massive. And we just got him pretty recently, and he's already put out this new leaf and this crazy stem, and then this new leaf as well. And he seems extremely happy where he's at right now. So again, like all my plants, they love humidity, love bright direct light, and they can get, you know, upwards of 30 feet outdoors. Indoors, hopefully he doesn't get that tall because my house is not that big. But yeah, I think they're absolutely amazing. You can get these at like Lowe's or Home Depot, and they're statement plants as well. So this next plant, you guys just saw this guy in the office. This is the Aglaonema, the Chinese evergreen. This is one of the babies that we took off the main plant. And I also have another one in our bedroom, and then another one that I ended up giving to a friend. But yeah, so this is one of the babies that I put off, and these are actually, this is actually like 2 separate plants. And then you can see here where it's starting to unfurl. So I love these guys because they just keep giving me more plants, which I keep giving away to all my friends. window. So everything in this window is constantly getting changed out all the time. So some of this stuff are things that we are trying to propagate at the moment. This, I'm not quite sure what this is. It looks like a string of something. Sometimes when we go to nurseries and things, if there's any plants that have fallen, we'll ask the workers if we can take them to propagate. Literally every time we've asked, they've always said yes. I'll never take them if I don't ask, obviously. This next thing that we're trying to propagate is one of our fiddle leaf fig leaves. I believe it should root. Not quite sure if it's actually going to, but I figured it's worth a try. This next plant is a purple heart, which I believe is part of the spiderwort family. I actually got this off the sidewalk. It had broken off of somebody's landscaping, and it looked like it had gotten stepped on. So I grabbed it, took it home, and it grew roots in water just fine. I planted it, and now it's absolutely flourishing. So I'm really excited about that. This next plant is our avocado tree. I planted this guy in seed, or I planted this seed about, I don't know, 5 months ago, I think. I actually did 3, the whole stick and water thing that you do with avocado seeds. So this guy was like the one that made it out of the 3. You can actually see he's got really nice roots going on, and he started sprouting his stem, and now he's got these little leaves. So I'm really excited. He'll be going into soil pretty soon. He's thriving right now, so I'm just kind of letting him do his thing. This next plant is a spider plant. My mom actually gave me this one. The adults basically put off a ton of babies. So it's grown quite a bit. It eventually will get repotted. I'm sure over the summer it's gonna get massive, and I can't wait until it starts putting off little babies of its own. This last plant is an aloe vera, and I also have a few of those Echinacea leaves in there. I'm trying to propagate them. This guy was also a $1 clearance find, and he looked awful. Like, I didn't even think that this plant was going to make it, but it's got a lot of new growth, and it's gonna get really big this summer, I bet. And yeah, I'm just really happy at how he turned out. So this area is kind of like our propagation station. A lot of stuff on here gets changed out a lot as it starts growing, and then we plant it. This first plant is a peperomia. I actually just got this, so I'm not quite sure what these guys love yet. I'm pretty sure they like bright and direct light. And I believe they actually like to be sort of pot bound. I think they thrive better. I'm pretty sure that's what I read. He's actually putting off some new growth, which is very exciting. This next thing is just our prayer plant that we are attempting to propagate. Who knows if it will. If it does, that's awesome. And I will most likely give it to a friend or family member. Up here we have the actual wandering Jew, which is the same family as the purple heart, and these guys all grow insanely fast. We actually got these cuttings from Home Depot. Skylar asked one of the associates if we could pick them up because they're just laying on the floor and they're just gonna get trashed anyway, so they let us take them home. And it's only been a few days and it already has roots. So I'm really excited. I know these guys grow super fast, and they're honestly very, very gorgeous plants. So this next plant takes up so much space. This is a bromeliad. These are epiphytic plants, which means in the wild they're usually growing on trees and things like that. They flower in the middle, and after they flower, the mother plant dies and starts putting off these baby plants. There's one here, there's another one somewhere over there. And so I've read that it's best to just let the mom die, you know, however long it takes, and let the babies grow as big as possible before separating them. So even though it looks kind of rough right now, that's what they're supposed to do. So if you have a bromeliad and it's starting to die, don't freak out. That's what they're supposed to do. Down here, I have a cutting from a zebra plant that I bought my brother for his birthday, and I thought it was so gorgeous, so I took a cutting. I'm hoping that it roots soon. We haven't had it in water long. These plants are honestly extremely gorgeous, so if it doesn't root, I'm just gonna go buy one for myself. Here we have the same plant as this, but this is called, it's like lilac, I guess. I'd actually never seen one of these before, so well, actually I know it'll root. I'm not even worried about it. Every plant in that family of plants grows extremely fast, so these are really, really beautiful. Here I just have another cutting from that Wandering Jew, and then I have another cutting of that string of whatever that may be, I'm not quite sure. And I love this bottle. It's so cute. So lastly, I have this bowl where everything I'm trying to propagate, I try to just shove in here. So it's just a huge assortment of random things. So I have a couple of those succulents that you saw on the windowsill earlier. I have a pencil cactus, a elephant plant, and a dogtail cactus. I'm not quite sure what some of these other things are. But yeah, I just kind of stick them all in here and hope that they grow roots. Thanks for watching my houseplant tour, guys. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope I didn't ramble too much. And lastly, you know, take everything I said with a grain of salt. A lot of times plants thrive well in many different environments, and it also depends on where you live and the light you get and so on and so forth. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you guys next time.